Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be going over the reads that I read in February, which are some really good ones. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. Okay, so we started February off on an insane note. Okay, so I just have to say, I've only read the first two, but I am a Daisy Hates girl all freaking day. This is one of my favorite reads of the year for sure, because it literally starts out with a bang. Like, and if you've read it, you get what I'm saying. It starts off crazy, and I was just absolutely hooked from the very beginning. I get a point of view in this book that I wasn't quite expecting. Like, I think if I did hear about him in the first book, I completely forgot about him and I was not thinking about him, but we do get that point of view in this book, which I thought was so freaking fun. I absolutely love this. Daisy as a character, okay? Everybody in the Magnolia Parks universe has issues. Let's go ahead and put that on the table so we all know they have issues. I initially rated this book a 4.5, but ever since I've read it, I keep debating, like, do I want to give it 5 stars? Do I not? I don't know. Because for the first week after I read it, I literally thought about Daisy and Christian every 2 seconds. Like, every 2 seconds. And ever since, like, I finished it in general, I have continuously seemed to think about them at some point in my week. I don't know what it is. I truly don't. But this story is so good. But the way it ends, I was like ready to punch a wall. Ready to punch a wall. So if you're going to read this series, be ready, okay? Buckle up because it's a wild ride and it doesn't stop. Like when you think, oh, well, look at that. And then what just happened? What just happened? Like literally we were on such a great path and then what just happened? We followed up Daisy Hates by reading The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I buddy read this with my girly Oaf. And to say it was an adventure is an understatement. I was so scared because with fantasies, I don't know, that's one of my branching out genres. So I'm scared to like dabble in the new things. And it's kind of scary when you first start a new genre. You're like, okay, I love this, but if I read this, will I feel the same, you know? But I read The Cruel Prince and I absolutely adored it. Chapter 20. Like I read this over a month ago and I will not forget chapter 20. Oh my God, like things just start going down and it gets so crazy. And honestly, I don't know what it was about Prince Carden in this book, but hello, like I loved him so much. So obviously in every scenario that I've read so far, the Fae and the humans are separate and they're not keen to each other. They're not the biggest fans of each other and it's just like, stay away. But when Jude was, how old was she? 7? Ha! She was 7. How did I know that? I don't know. But Jude was 7 years old when both of her parents were like brutally murdered by the Fae. And the Fae ended up taking her and her siblings in to come live with them. You'll figure out why when you read the book, okay? But she goes to live with these Fae, and a lot of people, like the humans, when they go over there, they don't aspire to be like them. They don't want to live their ways, but Jude does. She's always been super intrigued with the Fae, and she's just like, I want to live this life. Like, this is what I was thrown into. I might as well try to make the best of it and see what it gets me. There are so many complex characters in this book that, like, you meet them and you don't quite know how you feel about them until a few more interactions with them. And I will say, I don't think there's ever been a book where I disliked so many characters, but you're supposed to. Like, don't take that the wrong way. It's not like the way she wrote them or anything. The way she wrote it was like so easy to eat up. It went so fast. It's very fast paced, but there were so many assholes in this book. And I was just like, Jude. Honestly, this book, in my opinion, was so fun to read. And it was a good second fantasy. I honestly feel like this is a great fantasy to start out with. If you have not read fantasy yet and you are into it and you want to get into it, I would suggest this book because it was very simple to read. There were only a few words that I had to Google and kind of see what was going on with that because I was like, what is that word? But it was fairly simple and I really enjoyed it. So I think this is a great starter for girls wanting to get into fantasy if you haven't done so yet. If it's of interest, I suggest The Cruel Prince because it's just so easy to follow along and I don't feel like you'll be too confused. And the plot twist, like girl, the plot twist in this book. Chapter 20, I'm telling you, once you get to chapter 20, it's just gonna be like, like, I'm not even being extra, I'm being so serious. Like I was at work reading this and I had to keep like, it's so crazy. Just like thinking about it now and like picturing that chapter in my head, I'm getting all kind of flustered. Okay, and the third book that we read in February was Blind Pass by my girl, Tegan Hunter. I've never had a book so fast-paced. Like, I know I just said The Cruel Prince was fast-paced, but like, put that on steroids, okay? Like, this book, I literally zoomed through it. I think I finished it in a day or maybe 2, but it did not take me long at all because I was eating this up. So in this series, this is book number 2 in the Carolina Comet series, and it's literally all hockey. So say freaking less. Literally say less. You know me, you know I freaking adore and eat up hockey anytime it is placed in front of me. Okay, and my girl Tiara was like, girl, Puck Shy, read it, you'll love it. Literally obsessed. So I picked this one up quite soon after because Puck Shy was so good. I gave it 5 stars. I gave this a 4.5 stars. I don't know what it is. Something about Tegan's writing just gets me so giddy. And I literally like keep thinking about them over and over and over, and I'm just like, I'm ready for the next story and the next story. But in this book, we follow Rhodes and Ryan, and they make a drunken mistake and they get married in Vegas. Okay, we've seen this scenario before. So we're stuck in this marriage because, I mean, how is it going to look for a big, huge NHL player to turn around and be like, divorced the next day? It's gonna be all over the tabloids. People are gonna be going crazy saying he's reckless and da 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 da. So they're just like, okay, we made this mistake. We made our bed. We must lay in it. That is literally the basis of this story. But you guys know how this stuff works. You already know how it works. Literally, they're going to fall in love. And you're already married, so now you don't even have to do that. So at this point, I've read 3 of these books in the series, and literally all of them look like this because, like I said, it's perfect. I love it so much. The smut. Girl, okay? Literally, if you want hockey, if you want smut, if you want to be kicking your feet and giggling and just feeling like a total schoolgirl, this series is for you. Carolina Comets, check it out. I freaking adore it. If you do read it, let me know what you think because, like, I'm honestly on a life mission to get everybody to pick these up because so good. In the 4th book that we read in February, not much to say about this one, unfortunately. I did annotate it and it has a good amount of annotations, but this book was also so weird to me. Like, in some scenarios with books, the good outweighs the bad or vice versa. The bad outweighed the good with this one. Just because there's one scene in particular. Okay, I literally can't find it and I'm not going to search this book looking for that scene, but it was disgusting. It was literally like, I was buddy reading it with Oaf and I texted her and I said gag. Absolute gag. Why are there so many tabs? I don't know. But okay, so we follow Haley and Julian. Yes. Julian is a weirdo. That's all I'm gonna say. The book was not for me. I think I gave it like 2.5 stars because there was some cuteness in it. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't completely horrible. There was some goodness in it, but not enough to overcome what he had done previously in the chapters because I was just like, boy. I read Emma Miller's beta read in January and I talked to you guys about that, The Pros and Cons of Us. Literally so good. Loved it so much. So I turned around and I read the list of things because I loved her writing so much and the characters, I needed them back in my life. So I was like, okay, pause. We're gonna go back. So the list of things by Emma Miller. 5-star read. Absolutely adore this book so much. You guys always want to do the trends where in a world of boys, he's a gentleman. Literally, nobody is a gentleman like Bellamy. Nobody is a gentleman like Lawson. Nobody holds a candle to my boys in these books because, like, Emma made the perfect male character. Like, I don't know what else to say other than that. Like, she literally did. He's respectful. He's hot. He's kind. He's caring. He's literally perfection. Perfect. It's like a woman built a man, which, I mean, she did. And there he is. There he freaking is. And he's freaking perfect. And I loved him so much. And I was literally swooning so much throughout this read, just wanting more and more and more and more. And it was so beautiful. In this book, okay, so our girl Cam is not a romantic. She's not a relationship girl. It's just not her cup of tea. But as her and Sienna, her best friend, are laying on the couch one night because they love rom-coms. Weird, right? She's like, I don't want to do the whole romance thing, but I love me some romantic comedies. So they're sitting there and they're watching the movies and they get to talking, and Cam is just like, you know, all of this stuff you see in the movies, it's not real. It's never going to happen. No guy is ever going to take you out on an arcade date or kiss you at the top of a Ferris wheel or kiss you in the rain or all this stuff that we see in the movies. So Sienna's like, okay, make a list of all the things that you don't think would happen. And that's what Cam does. She makes her a little list of all the things that she thinks are cute and would love to happen, but they're never going to. And when the boy that she is tutoring comes over to tutor, guess who left their list out? So he discovers said list, and Bellamy is just so cute. I love him so much. And he just like, he gets this idea and he's like, I can make this list come true for you. And do you see me literally getting teary-eyed talking about these characters? I love them. So 5 stars for the list of things. I love this book so freaking much. It's a sports romance. It's friends to lovers romance. It's literally like perfection in a book, okay? While I was in Lawrenceville, Georgia for the book signing, me and Emma started talking about Coraline and how much we love the movie so much. She had read the book, I hadn't read it, so I was like, girl, gotta get it. As soon as we got home, I'm pretty sure I read her, and I read it in a day because I mean, super short. But here's one thing that I did not really care for, and I think that the movie makers made a good decision in adding this character because they bring a lot of light to it and a lot of different scenarios, and they just make it more fun in my opinion now that I can compare this with the movie. But Wybie is not in the book, and like the whole time like she's talking to the cat and they're having like all these conversations that they have in the movie, but Wyborn's not there, and I hated it. Like, I hated that he wasn't there. I did not hate the book by any means. I still loved it, and I didn't rate it because I didn't really know how to. Do you ever have a book like that, like, you don't particularly know how you want to rate it? Like, this just didn't jump out as a rating to me, so I just didn't rate it, but I did enjoy it. I just wish my man, Why Were You Born was there. Okay, and the next book that we read in February, I literally don't have the physical copy. So anyway, we're just gonna use my Kindle. No, I did not read it on my Kindle, but am I gonna take a chance to show off my new Kindle? Yes, obviously. Like, it's not a new Kindle, but it's new stickers, new pop socket. It makes it feel new. So there's not much to say about this one if I'm gonna be quite frank with you. If only I had told her. I was so hyped for that book because I loved If Only He Had Been With Me so much. Like, the way it made my heart feel and like the way it stuck with me for so long after. I adored that book, so I was super excited for the next one, and it just was not it. It was literally, I think it was like 396 pages, and it was literally 396 pages of depression. Like, I literally just wanted to cry the entire time. I had to keep stopping after so many chapters because I'm just like, dude, this is so upsetting. Like, are we gonna get any good in the book? And then the ending, I did not care for the ending. I see the potential of the ending, but you didn't give us that potential. You just showed us what could happen. And I didn't really care for that, you know? Like, I know a lot of books end like that. Like, they're like, okay, and they got married and they had a baby and now here goes their life. But that's not how this ended, with like so many thoughts and questions left. And I was just like, what is this? Honestly, yeah, I was super disappointed with that book, if I'm honest with you. All right, we only have 3 more books to go over. The next book was a buddy read that I buddy read with Tiara, my girl, Kay, and we read Divine Rivals. So this book follows Iris and Roman, and I freaking adored it so much. So we start off with like kind of a workplace romance, enemies to lovers type deal. These 2 people are both writers. They write stories for the tabloids, and they're like little reporters. So they both have these typewriters that they got from their grandmother, and they literally just think they're typewriters. They're like, oh, type, you know, you don't think anything else of it. But it turns out that these freaking typewriters are interconnected. So whenever she puts a message in the wardrobe expecting it to go to her brother who's out on the field fighting, it goes to this other person, and she's like, who the heck are you? 2 people that work together and are rivals at work are literally writing back and forth to each other, growing this huge bond between these 2 people because they're being so real and raw with each other. But Iris has no idea that this is the guy that she literally cannot stand at work. And so it's just so fun to see, like, oh, tonight she's writing this letter and getting in depth and like questioning her feelings for this person. And then she's going to work and she's like, oh, screw you, Roman, get out of my face. I don't know. I just thought it was so fun. And then it's so freaking like drama filled. There's so much going on. War. I've realized I like reading about wars because it keeps you on your toes. Like, death can happen at any time, and that's freaking terrifying. So I love this book. I freaking ate it up. I loved it so much. Second to last book that we read in February. Whew, I love this book so much. It was actually insane. Okay, so Butcher and Blackbird. I was in Walmart one night, couldn't find anything I wanted, but this cover just like grabbed my eye. I was like, wow, that's a really pretty cover. And so I read the back, which I'm about to read you the back so you can kind of get a feel for what's going on. Every serial killer needs a friend. Every game must have a winner. When a chance encounter sparks an unlikely bond between rival murderers Sloan and Rowan, they find something elusive. The friendship of the two like-minded, pitch-black souls who just happen to enjoy killing other serial killers. From small-town West Virginia to upscale California, and from downtown Boston to rural Texas, the two hunters collide in an annual game of blood and suffering, one that pits them against the most dangerous monsters in the country. But as their friendship develops into something more, the restless ghosts left in their wake are only a few steps behind, ready to claim more than just their newfound love. Can Rowan and Sloan dig themselves out of a game of graves, or have they finally met their match? It gave Mindfuck series, and I was like, girl, I loved Lana, so please stop playing with me. Like, I'm literally grabbing it. So I grabbed it, and I was like, okay, I'm reading this. And then I flipped to the front to look at the content warnings and triggers, you know. And it is a page and a quarter, so I would definitely, please read the trigger warnings first. Because this book, it gets insane, but I was here for it the whole freaking time. I love the way that he is obsessed with her and the way she's intrigued with him. Like, their just dynamic together is so freaking addictive, and I couldn't get enough of it. You're probably like, girl, it's a book about serial killers. What did you annotate? Trust me, there is so much banter in this book that is going to have you obsessed. It's so freaking good. I gave it 4.5, but this is also another book that I've been thinking back on, and I'm like, do I want to give it 5 stars? And honestly, after sitting here with you guys talking about it, I think I will. I think this is going to be a 5-star baby because she was just so good, and I literally cannot wait for Leather and Lark, which comes out, I want to say in July, but don't quote me on that because I might be totally off. But this book was so freaking good, and I recommend it 1,000 times. Just read the trigger warnings first. Okay, and the last book that we read in February, You Road Not Taken by Emily Tudor. Oh my god. Do you see the amount of tabs? Like, I finished this like February, I think I finished it on the 29th, the last day of the month. It is currently February, or no, it's not, it's March 15th, and I just finished the annotations to this book yesterday because there's literally so many, like so many. The amount of times that I wrote "This man is perfect," that's the best one to go with because I wrote it probably 20 times within this book because he's literally perfect. Like, Tristan was everything to me, and they get me so giddy. Livy and Tristan, they have a long history, okay? So they dated in high school. They had the super cutest meet cute, okay? I loved it. It had me kicking my feet. Adored it, okay? So something happens with these two lovebirds and things drift apart, and we lost an amazing love, okay? So Tristan comes home, and it is unsettling because this girl still has all these feelings from 4 years ago that she has not let go of yet. She has not gotten over Tristan. She has not forgotten about all the times that they've shared. She literally like is living Tristan free in her head, okay? He comes back after 4 years of being gone, and they start to question like, what happened all those years ago? Why did we separate? What's the real reasoning behind everything? And he is going through something very traumatic in his life, so he's in a very sensitive place, and she is just like the best freaking friend for him just to lean on. Like, she's still hurt from what happened 4 years ago. Like, her earth was shattered that day, and things will never be the same, but she is still being this amazing freaking genuine person and helping Tristan get through this rough patch in his life. And he's also this genuinely amazing person, and I literally like, read this book. Read it. Don't even listen to me. Tell me to shut up and go read this book because I freaking loved it. I got the PR package and I turned around and read the book because I could not put her on a shelf to wait. I needed to read her right then and there, and I did, and I freaking adored it. One of my biggest things with this book is I have said that I've resonated with the book before. I've probably said it in this video because I have. I've resonated with books on certain subjects or, you know, certain feelings or this and that. But this book, I have never felt so heard and seen from a book. And like that feeling, you get that feeling and you freaking chase it, because it's an amazing feeling to feel so understood by somebody's words on a page. And that's what this book was for me. So if you have not read this book, I recommend it so many times. It left such a huge impact on me and I love it so much. So yeah, that is all the books that we read in February. My babies. I adore them all. They're all amazing. So if you want to read any of these, I totally recommend it. Secretly Yours, that's a different conversation. Weird. But thank you guys for coming back. Now that we're all moved in and we're settled in and we're all good, I will be having more YouTube videos and I'm so excited for it, because 2024 is the year that I want to get on my grind with YouTube, because it honestly like makes me so happy to sit here and set my phone up and just talk to you guys for a little bit. And then I get to see your comments and we get to talk back to each other, and it just makes me so happy. I hope you have a great week and I hope you read some amazing books, and please let me know if you read any of the books from this video, especially The List of Things and The Road Not Taken, because those books were absolute masterpieces. So I love you, babes, and I'll catch you next time. So we started, oh, you can kind of see them, okay? So you have a sneak peek, that's fine. No, it's not, push them out the way, okay? But this book specific, what is that? I knew that, back up, okay? Girl, it was just, I'm trying to find the words, okay? Okay, so, I feel like I'm acting like a doofus right now, but I'm just excited. This book just gets me freaking hyped and I act like an idiot because I love it so much. It's not fair because I was reading this at the same time I was reading this, and his name is Roman and his name is Rowan. Do you know how freaking brain screwed I was trying to read this? I was like, wait, who did what? This book follows Iris and Roman. Okay, there's no grade. You stupid bitch. That fly is getting on my nerves.